Okay, so this is the second section. This is about momentum, change, and impulse. So in the first section, we talk about momentum, di ba? Being equal to mass times velocity. Sabi din natin, they are directly proportional to each other. So ibig sabihin, kapag nag-increase ng twice, nag-increase ng 2 times, ang iyong velocity, kumbaga mas dumoble yung bilis. Dodoble din yung kanyang momentum, di ba? And also, if the mass doubled, hindi magiging doble din yung kanyang momentum, di ba? Kasi they are directly proportional. So think about a snowball going down the hill. O di ba pag may snow, didikit yung ibang snow dito sa original snowball. So malaki yung mass niya as it is going down. And then, due to the force of the gravity, yun na naman, as it is going down, mas bumibilis siya. So you can say that as the snowball is going down, nag-increase yung mass niya, nag-increase yung velocity niya, therefore, its momentum is also increasing. Okay? And then, we also said that in sports, ginagamit yung salitang momentum kapag yung isang team ay hindi mapigilan ng opposing team at tumatambak na yung score. Related din siya sa physics definition nito, no? Kasi 'di ba, mass in motion. So kasi parang ang bilis ng winning team. Puntos sila ng puntos, like their points are growing like the mass. In our analogy, that would be the mass, and they are doing it very, very fast. So in our physics analogy, that will be the velocity. So maybe that's the reason why it's used in sports, no? So let's go ahead and talk about momentum change, pagbabago sa momentum, and impulse. What is this new term? So I think you can say that this is true based on real life experiences, no? The larger the momentum, mas malaki yung momentum ng isang object, mas malaki yung kailangan mong opposing force, and mas mahabang oras ang kailangan mo para mapigilan mo yung momentum ng object na yun, or para mapapatigal mo siya. Okay? So, for example, you are riding a bicycle. Okay, riders ka, ganun. And then in this particular situation, the bicycle, you are riding the bicycle down the slope. Diba? So, paano mo pipigilan yung malaking momentum, relatively large momentum ng biker plus the bike as it is going down the hill? O diba, kaya mong i-increase yung friction sa gulong by pressing the preno, di ba? The brakes. Kailangan din, halimbawa, gusto mong talagang mag-slow down ka ng mabisa, di ba? Or gusto mong tumigil while you are mag-slow down, at least, while you're going down the slope. Kailangan mong higitin ng todo. Ibig sabihin, maglagay ng malaking opposing force. At syempre, hindi lang mabilisan, di ba? Kailangan mong higitin yung preno over a relatively large period of time in order to stop the momentum of the bicycle. Pero syempre naman, if you add more force, di ba, while ago, opposing force yung binigay mo. Pero pag nag-add ka pa ng force doon sa isang object na already has a big momentum, and ginawa mo yon over a long period of time or several time, so syempre, mas talaki yung momentum ng object na yon, di ba? O ginagawa siya ng mga skaters, di ba? Pag gusto nila mapabilis yung skateboard, di ba, papadyak pa sila lalo sa ground in order to move forward faster, and they will do it several times. O in the case of skiers, some of them, kailangan nila mabilis, di ba? So what they would do, para lumiit yung surface area na natatamaan ng hangin, kasi magpuproduce yun ng drag, di ba? O kaya parang frictional force due to air. Di ba bagal sila? Kung gusto nilang bumilis, they tend to stoop down like this, like what you can see in the picture, para ma-maintain nila yung kanilang fast speed. Okay? So those are situations, and I told you in the beginning that we will connect impulse and momentum using an equation. Don't worry, you're familiar with this one. This is the equation for the second law of motion, diba? But we also know that acceleration is, by definition, that's the change in velocity over the change in time. So if we multiply both sides of the equation by time or the change in time, o diba, we can cancel. And we are left with F times change in time equals mass times change in velocity. O remember, di ba, n times v, that's momentum. Pag meron ka ng triangle or theta, that means change or pagbabago. So on the right side, you can see the change in momentum or momentum change. This is the momentum change part of the equation. And this is actually the impulse. This is the force na nararamdaman ng isang object over a period of time. That's impulse. Force times change in time. Force times time. Usually, actually, yung pinasend ko sa inyong equation, that's the impulse momentum change equation or theorem. So, impulse F, change in t, times change in t equals mass times change in velocity. Okay? So, usually, we apply this theorem in collisions. Okay? We apply them in collisions. So, for example, in a billiard, yung mga billiard players, they are master of this theorem, whether they understand the physics definition of this or not. But they're really master of this theorem. So, di ba? Sorry kung hindi bilog na bilog, no? But, if a billiard player gusto niya papasukin yung bola na to doon sa hole na yon, at the beginning, this ball will have zero momentum because it's not moving, di ba? But, gamit ka ng tako, di ba? And then, this ball, yung white ball mo, i-hit yung bola na to, yung magic ball na to. When they collide, di ba? The green ball will experience an impact force over a relatively short period of time. Force times time. Okay? And that will enable the ball to change its momentum, to speed up in this situation, para pumasok siya doon, hopefully to that hole. Okay? Remember, based on this equation, yung pagbabago sa bilis ng isang bagay or the change in momentum ng isang bagay ay nakadepende lang din, or equal lang din doon sa matatanggap niya o mararamdaman niyang impulse. Okay? So, kung malaking impulse ang naramdaman niya, siguro malaking force, di ba, ang naramdaman niya, that will also equate to a large change in momentum. Okay? Later on, I will expound on that. So, syempre, sometimes when objects collide, they break, di ba? Some of them break, especially if they're fragile, or like in the case of eggs. And then sometimes, if you will collide itong dalawang, Play-Doh nga ba, clay, ang tawag dito, there's a chance that they may stick together, di ba? Kapag nag-collide sila, nagsalubong sila. Okay? But we will not talk about those things, those types of collision. In our examples or in our problems, we're only going to talk about collisions between objects na they remain intact, hindi nababasag. Okay? And they don't stick,